Hello, class. So tonight we are talking about coaching stress. And right now, currently, I am coaching at three different schools. I'm the assistant coach at Mount Sac for women's water polo. I'm the assistant coach for a private, like a country club swim team in Pasadena. And then now I am also the assistant coach at Glendora High. The one place that I'm going to talk about right now would be Glendora, just because I'm going to be focusing on that a little bit more, right? Because I'm going to be working with them. I'm the head JV head coach now, and varsity assistant coach. So 5 stressors that I have noticed and have been dealing with so far, just starting with the group, is parent involvement, fundraising, aquatic pool time, which is huge when it comes to just aquatics in general, playtime, and then grades and also being let down. Some ways that we could help out with parent involvement. What we do at Glendora, it's just hard because some parents want to overstep their boundaries and take control, but the head coach has done a really good job communicating with the parents and asking them to be placed in certain positions. Like, they've created a board where one parent is like the head treasurer that deals with the fundraising money, and then another parent is in charge of like swimsuits. Another parent is in charge of making sure athletes are ready and has all the emails set out for tournaments and games and whatnot. And then we actually have a couple parents that have played water polo before that show up. One parent, he gets in the water every single day and just works with goalies. It's really hard to find a parent that's like that, that's willing to come in and help out but not take control. And that's something that needs to be brought up during practice on the first day. Talk to the parents and talk to the athletes about who's in charge, and kind of have the same level head of everything. You don't want to have like a parent have a certain idea and try to bring it to the team when it hasn't even been approved by the head coach. Also, the second one, fundraising, like, I am new, and I'm an assistant coach, head coach JV, and I don't even know what we're doing for fundraising. And it kind of stresses me out that I don't know what we're doing. And like, I talked to the board, and they email me a few things, but some of it's a little confusing to me. And how I'm going to work on it now is kind of like having a one-on-one meeting with the board and try and get on the same level, ask my own questions, find all my answers, and just have a good communication with the parents. Because if I don't start that now, then I'm not going to have a good communication throughout the rest of the season and school year. Pool time. So at our pool, we have swim team. We have a swim lesson program that comes in. We have other club swim teams that use our pool, along with boys and girls water polo. So getting pool time is really difficult, and it's a lot of stress because there are times that we want and we can't get because it's just the way planning comes out. Every year we start off with a meeting in the beginning of the year. We tell about the times that we want, and we just try to work around each other's schedules. Sometimes it overlaps and we got to share the pool, and other times it just turns out to be different. Another stress is playtime. Athletes coming up to me asking, like, when am I going to get playtime? I want playtime. I dealt with it as an athlete, and it wasn't really handled correctly. But what I want to do is I want to change that. I want to be able to have one-on-one conversations, have one-on-one meetings with my athletes, and explain to them what they need to focus on and what their strengths are so that they can bring that to the team. I want everyone to play. I want them to have a good experience. playing water polo and being in the pool. And by doing that, I just need to have a good communication with all of my players, not just the people who aren't getting playtime, but the people who are, so that they can help the people who aren't getting playtime during practice and outside of school. And then the next one I kind of put together is grades and letdowns. Grades, I try to stress to my athletes, it's hard when your best player is getting crappy grades and they can't play. So in the very beginning, we have to put the foot down and tell them, you are student athletes, you are a student first. And I had a coach that did that with me, and I couldn't be any happier. I made sure that my grades were on point so that I can play, I can travel, I can transfer. And by just being that mentor and leader and telling them, hey, you know what, if you can't be at practice for 30 minutes because you got to study or get a tutor, do it. Because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to play. And also letdowns, like people saying that they're going to show up to practice but don't show up. That's also very stressful because you prioritize as a coach with all your athletes what you're going to do for the day. And if nobody shows up, it's hard to create a practice to let everybody scrimmage against each other and whatnot. But if somebody's not there, it's a major letdown. And also in the beginning, all this has to be put down the beginning of the season, during off season, making sure that if they're not going to be there, they have to be responsible, and you teach them that responsibility of notifying the coach, like, hey, I'm not going to be there because I have a dentist appointment or whatnot. But if they're not going to be there just because they don't feel like it, then something needs to happen, a talk with the athlete or with the parents. A Bible verse that I go to is John 14:1. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Also trust in me. And I believe that this is something that I just need to reassure, because being a coach is definitely stressful. You're going to be in a lot of different situations with parents, with yourself, with your assistant coaches, with your head coaches, and with your athletes. You always need to look to God when you want to rip your hair out, because it's going to happen.